So I just want to reiterate what therapy is, because there is a little bit of controversy around behavior therapy and whether it causes some trauma or it's just not preferred in some households. But I just want to put therapy into kind of a layman's terms as it was explained to me. So therapy is like driving a car. So let's just compare it to driving a car. When you're 16, you're just learning how to drive, and you know every stop that you make, you know every pedestrian that got in your way. You have to pay attention, and it's because the road map, the synapses that fire with thought versus action, it's a bumpy road. So a 16-year-old driving is a bumpy road.
They're thinking about shifting gears and pushing in the clutch and looking in the mirror.
Think about it all.
Yeah.
Then fast forward to me, who's driven for several decades. I don't have to remember how I got home. Not one part of me knows how many stoplights I made or how many turns or how fast I was going. I just go home. And it's because that road is smoothed out. And it's because I've done it over and over and over. So therapy is a lot like that. But in our little people, their synapses or their roads, their pathways are smoothed out to the wrong, the more inappropriate action response. So if something happens to me, maybe my pathway is smooth to hitting or throwing or screaming or swearing or whatnot. But through therapy, I can smooth out a different pathway, and that's pretty soon will sever the undesirable path and smooth out this pathway that is more desirable, is more appropriate. And through intensive behavioral interventions, I can smooth out different pathways forever.
They'll never go back to the old way of the old pathway.
Unless we allow that again to be their go-to response.
And it's a forever thing. It's
a forever thing, just like driving.
Wow.
It's a forever thing.
It kind of blows my mind to think about therapy in that regard. I have done a lot of therapy. I'll admit it. I'm doing it all the time. I'm in marriage therapy right now. We're doing all kinds of therapy. I feel like therapy for me is school. I'm still going to school. I'm learning how to run this mechanism. I would have thought by now I would have a pretty good idea on how to be happy and how to react and to be in this space. But I'm not. I'm learning. I need a coach all the time. This life is a difficult thing to figure out, and I want to do it as smoothly and gracefully as possible. And without coaching in any regard, baseball, marriage, anything, you could do better. And so I'm a huge fan of it, and I'm not ashamed to admit that I get therapy all the time. We do marriage therapy every other year or so because we just need to check in and make sure that the car's running smooth. Yeah. And we're changing those behaviors, because we have developed unhealthy pathways. Right. That's all it is. It's no reflection upon me.
And if you think about it in those terms, it's actually not that difficult to change a pathway.
Right. It's very simple.
It's very simple.
Well, then what I love about that too is it takes the bad person out of the equation.
Yeah.
I'm not a bad person.
No.
I just have a bad pathway that's not working for me, and I need to work on that. I love that.
Yeah.
That's powerful. Thanks for sharing that.
Rob, why would somebody want to watch this podcast?
Why wouldn't you? We have a good time. You're going to learn something. And by the way, it's awesome. You should click it. You should watch it. Thanks for tuning in.
Subscribe right now.